Hello, Dave here, and welcome back to Hollybush Railway for a quick look at a coach I've just picked up in the Rails of Sheffield sales. Hornby's TT120 Mk2 Brake Standard Open Coach. Now the TT120 Mk2 coaches have been out for a while now, so this might be old news to some of you watching, but I'd not picked up any when they first came out. So I've started to add them to my rolling stock collection now that I'm expecting the Class 37 to arrive soon. And Rails of Sheffield had this one at almost half price in their sale, so it was too good a bargain to pass up. A wee bit of history. The Mark II family of coaches were built by British Rail between 1964 and 1975, and they were made as a replacement for the British Rail Mark I coaches, which had been introduced in 1951. The Mark Is had been a standardised family of coaches for the entire nationalised British Rail network, replacing the mix of carriages inherited from the Big Four companies, LNER, LMS, Southern and Great Western. By the early 1960s, however, it was clear that while the Mark Is were an improvement on what came before, there were a number of issues that still needed to be addressed with a new design of coach for high-speed intercity services, and so the Mark IIs were created. The semi-integral all-steel construction gave the Mark IIs more strength than the Mark Is in the event of an accident, and they overcame serious corrosion issues with the Mark I body attached to the underframe and around the windows. These corrosion problems were making the Mark Is very expensive to maintain. Advances in painting methods also helped reduce corrosion, and this coincided with the change of livery from maroon to blue and grey. Hornby's model is a Mark IIF. There were several revisions to the Mark II fleet over the years that they were constructed, with each modification indicated by the addition of a letter suffix to the coach. The F coaches were the final ones made, built between 1973 and 1975. They featured interior plastic panelling, a new style of seating, the IC70 seats, full air conditioning with lower body side heaters and cream folding plastic gangway doors and vestibule ends. This later generation of Mark II coach is visually similar to the Mark III design, although they are noticeably shorter. Now, Hornby's modelling of the coach is every bit as superb as I've become accustomed to with their TT120 products. There are printed details such as the private sign on the guard's door that are so small it's difficult to pick them out with the naked eye, but a camera close-up shows just how clear and legible the printing is. There's lovely detailing moulded around the door frames, and I love the details picked out underneath, such as the springs on the bogies picked out in red just as they were on the real coaches, that is, if you ever saw one that wasn't covered in dirt. Weathering is a project that can wait for another day though. The intercity blue and grey livery looks fantastic on them. I can just about remember trains of this livery sitting in platforms 1 and 2 of Glasgow Central when I was visiting the big city as a young boy. The executive livery was just coming in around this time, but I do remember a few of the blue and greys still around. In my fictionalised version of history on my layout here, trains with Mark II coaches in a mix of blue, grey and executive liveries, hauled by Class 37 locals, will be operating the boat trains between London and Stranraer that pass through Ayrshire. It's not exactly how it happened in the real world, but it's close enough for my liking here in my fictionalised version. Putting the coach on the incline track and letting it freewheel down shows that it's a nicely free-running coach, so it should be no bother to have one of Hornby's locals haul a big long rake of them. Included with the coach are a pair of Buckeye magnetic couplings, and this is something that I would like to see Hornby include as a standard option with all of their TT120 rolling stock. I've only seen it on the Mark II so far. I prefer magnetic couplings to the tension lock as it's easier for me to couple and uncouple coaches and wagons anywhere on the layout, such as coupling wagons on the tight R1 curves of my goods yard. The magnetic couplings have no problem with aligning on the corners as the magnets attract each other, while the tension lock couplers stick straight out and can miss each other on tight bends. Overall, I think this is an excellent addition to my fleet of rolling stock at Hollybush, and I'm looking forward to adding more Mark II coaches in future. Thanks for watching. Please click the like button if you've enjoyed this, and please click subscribe too if you're not already signed up to the channel. I'm not far off from reaching 1,000 subscribers, and I'd love to get to that milestone by the end of the year. I'll be back soon with a video on Harbour and Hobby's new Glasgow wagons and a visit to the Falkirk Model Railway exhibition next weekend. Take care, see you soon.